This movie had quite a bit of like old school, like big Hollywood actors in it. It had Sylvester Stallone, it had uh, Kurt Russell, it had David Hasselhoff. I'm pretty sure it had Dave or Jeff Goldblum in there a little bit. A lot of old school actors in there. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2 today. What do I think about it? I liked it a lot. I really did. I liked it a lot. The big focal point of this movie is between Peter and his dad. It's between Star-Lord and Ego. Why they chose that? I'm not too sure why they chose like to center the movie around the relationship between him and his dad. I guess it was because of the ending of the first one, but I'm not too sure why they chose that. The point is, I liked it. Kurt Russell is Ego. Now that the movie's out, now I can start saying what exactly Ego is. In case you didn't know, if when you watch the movie, you'll see that Ego is a planet. Is like Kurt Russell is a planet, and Kurt Russell's only there because they had to have someone, Kurt Russell, and they wanted something that Peter can like talk to, like see as a father figure. So they put Kurt Russell there. Otherwise, that was pretty much it. A lot of the other characters didn't do as much as I had hoped. Like Gamora, she didn't do anything really. When you think about it, watch the movie and you'll see what I'm talking about. She was kind of just Peter's love interest, if that makes sense. Drax was amazing in this movie. Drax was freaking hilarious. Dave Bautista's just dry delivery of the dry humor is just incredible. He nails almost every joke that he puts on screen. It's fucking hilarious. As you'd expect, Baby Groot is adorable. That's about it though, is that Baby Groot's adorable. Here's the one I wanted to talk about a lot, was Yondu. Yondu, Michael Rooker in this movie is great. He's great. He was great in the first movie. I never did a review of the first one because I didn't start my channel back in 2014 when the first movie came out. But Michael Rooker in Guardians of the Galaxy was one of the best parts. There's just something about the way he's like a show stealer, if you ask me. Like every time Yondu's on screen, just the way Rooker sounds, the way he looks, that fucking whistling arrow is just so cool, badass. I don't know what it is. I can't describe it. Yondu is really cool. That's all I could say. In fact, I might even argue it that Yondu was probably... I think if there's going to be one character that you're going to walk away remembering the most from this movie, it's probably going to be Yondu. That's just my guess. And then there's the other guy. There's the other guy who... He's the weird southern sounding guy, the hillbilly kind of guy, the dumb kind of guy. I don't know how else to describe him. I don't remember his name. He was kind of Yondu's buddy. He's the one who stuck with him through thick and thin. And then there's Nebula. That's the whole team, okay? Now, the problem is the main focus of this was between Peter and his dad. And so when you look at it from that way, you'll kind of see what I'm getting at here. Like, Gamora didn't do much except play love interest. Drax was just kind of comedic humor. Rocket had a couple of things. Baby Groot was just Baby Groot. He was cute. Nebula was just trying to kill Gamora. I forgot to mention Mantis. Mantis, we'll talk about her a little bit in the spoilery section. She's adorable though. In this movie, she's adorable. Just think about it. A lot of characters didn't have any new developments from the first movie. You know what I mean? Obviously, the first one had to introduce the characters, but then the second one doesn't really push them forward in any significant way, if you ask me. But that doesn't change the fact that I loved every character in this movie. It's just, that's what I was trying to go for when I said that this movie doesn't offer anything new. It just kind of gives you the same characters, and it just says, here's more of the same characters, with the exception of Peter. Peter has, obviously, because it's between him and Ego, Peter's going to have some major development in this movie. Otherwise, the sub-arcs, or the secondary arcs of the movie involve things like Yondu and Rocket in prison from the Ravagers. I forget what they're called. The Golden People. It starts with an S. I can't think of it. I'll probably edit in subtitles or something. And then there's the arc between Nebula and Gamora. Nebula, she needs to tone it down a little bit. She's always like, she's got that voice and that intensity all the time. I know she's had a fucked up life. I get that, but she needs to just bring it down a little bit. It's not always a war zone out there. You know what I mean? Now, given the way that the trailers were put out to us, you would have thought that the golden guys were kind of the villains. They kind of were the villains, but that's where I'm going to jump into the spoiler territory. There's not much to say about like the plot of the movie without jumping into spoilers. All you can talk about is the characters, and I'd say Without a doubt, I love the characters. I love them. There's just nothing new, which isn't a bad thing, but it kind of just it shows you that it's mostly a Star-Lord and an Ego movie featuring the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know how else to explain it because it makes me seem like that's a negative thing, but it's really not. I enjoy the characters. That's what I'm gonna leave it at that. I loved the characters in this movie. There's just nothing new. End of story. So with that being said, I don't know if I was crazy in assuming this, but I thought I saw some negative reviews of Guardians, and I thought to myself, how is that possible? And then I looked it up in between the cuts here, and then I saw that I was in fact crazy. That it's generally doing okay, and I kind of just confirmed what I said, that it wasn't like as good as the first movie, and that's what I'm gonna say. I don't know if I'm going to do a review of the first movie, but just in case I do, I'm not going to score that one. But this one, I'm going to say, is probably a solid 8.5. Solid 8.5. That's, yeah, there's nothing new to say about it. Like I said, the characters, there's nothing new with the characters, but you still love them. You love the characters. That's really it. Let's talk about some spoilers. Okay, I didn't know a lot about Ego going into this movie, so that's why I was kind of surprised when I saw that Ego was actually the main villain of the movie, because it's basically it's nothing new. Like some greater good life form is just trying to kill us, and we have this internal conflict because we're like, well, I like my life, but this ultimate dude, this godlike being, the Celestial, as the movie called him, is trying to change that. And that, I don't think, would have been a problem for Peter, but the reason why he was the villain is because you find out very soon after, with those magical words, "It breaks my heart to have put that tumor in your mother's head." Oh my god, you couldn't have just left that alone, dude. You couldn't, dude. That kind of broke my heart. That the whole audience was like, and I'm like, shit, fucking Ego, you dickhead. So Ego's plan was to use his offspring to help, I guess, carry the life form of his life form across the entire universe, to kind of unify the universe. None of his offspring had it, except for Peter, obviously, because the plot calls for it. So he was trying to convince Peter to use this light inside of him, which I guess Peter had powers, but I don't know if I don't think he does anymore, because the Ego dies because he's the villain. That was his plan, was to take over the universe. There's not much else to that. Kurt Russell, I love Kurt Russell, don't get me wrong, but there wasn't like anything exceptional about his performance. I mean, he played like a really good dad in the beginning part of it, and then he played a really kind of not really cliched villain, but something, like I said, we've seen this before, Still, Ego was a good character overall. I especially liked it when you got the view of what he looked like as a planet. I was hoping that they were gonna do the whole planet with the face thing on it. You know what I mean? Instead of just having it be Kurt Russell, just embodied, one planet embodied inside of Kurt Russell. I'm glad they didn't do that. What else is spoilers? This is the main spoiler. It breaks my heart. There's ways to change this, but somehow, for some reason, I don't know why, I just have this feeling they're not going to change it. Yondu dies, and that, when you find out that Yondu was basically Yondu has been seen as kind of like this, not anti-hero, but he's just kind of like this dickhead, all right, especially towards Peter. Well, you find out at the beginning of this movie that Yondu kept Peter from Ego. He kept Peter from his dad, and then we're like, why would Yondu do that? That makes him like a really huge asshole. But the reason why is because Ego has been feeding off of these people and killing these people, or life forms, whatever, and Yondu wanted to keep Peter from that, and basically Yondu kept Peter around as a son. As fucked up of a lifestyle that Yondu gave Peter, it's still better than what Ego would have done to him. But yeah, Yondu sacrifices himself and gives Peter the spacesuit as Ego, the planet, is blowing up. And then they cremated him in this really cool, kind of trippy, what do you call that? Cremation chamber thing. Cremation chamber. Now that cremation to me signifies that Yondu's not coming back. But I still believe, I really do believe, that there's just a way. They have to bring him back. Fucking Michael Rooker, I think, was one of I'd say the top 3 best parts of the movie. The way that the movie looks, the comedy of the movie between all the characters, and then there's Yondu. I'm not sure if that's just the crazy me talking again, but I liked Yondu a lot. I really did. Mantis, I said I would talk about her a little bit. Mantis, she was kind of the plot device that I feel like that they're going to utilize her a lot more in either Guardians 3 or Avengers Infinity War. If we don't know anything about what the Guardians are going to be doing in Infinity War, but I feel like Mantis in this movie was nothing more than a plot device and a little bit of comedic value. And when I say plot device, I mean that she was the one thing that warned the rest of the Guardians, with the exception of Peter, obviously, that Ego was up to no good. And I feel like, fine, okay, you got to use Mantis for whatever. You got to excel the plot somehow, okay? But I feel like that's a character to keep around, and I definitely think they're going to use her more in the third Guardians or the Infinity War. And motherfucking Drax, you are beautiful on the inside. That's the kind of humor I'm talking about. That's just the way that Dave Bautista does it. See, I said it, and I guarantee nobody laughed. But Dave Bautista says it with just this deep, dry voice humor, and it works. It just works. Especially with the rest of the movie, it just works. I don't know how. Don't ask me how. I don't know. Okay, that's it for the main movie. There is a couple things that happened in the. There's actually like 3 credit scenes. I'm not saying like mid or post credit scenes, but there is one post credit scene. We'll talk about that one, and then there's like 2 or 3 mid credit scenes. One of them was the Stan Lee cameo. Now, obviously, there's a Stan Lee cameo in the middle of the movie, and this is actually where we get a better look at one of the major Marvel characters that nobody knows who he is. I remember him only because of Marvel Ultimate Alliance. That was a game I had for the Xbox 360. And his name is Uatu the Watcher. I don't know exactly what he does. All I know is he is a supreme fucking being. He is powerful. And I feel like they did not just introduce him for a comedic moment. They definitely are going to use him. They have to use him in Infinity War. I don't know how powerful he is compared to like Thanos. All I know is he is good. Whatever he is, he's good. Like, really good. And I guess the Stan Lee cameo, I don't know what this has to do with Uatu, but I guess there's those supreme beings, the Watchers, I guess is what you want to call them. I guess Stan Lee's just been playing this character. I don't know for what purpose. I haven't looked into it that much, but I saw that there was this Stan Lee fan theory going around. I haven't looked into it yet, but I have a feeling they basically said what it is, that he's playing a bunch of different characters. Like he said, he was playing the FedEx guy. Oh, I have to breathe. At the end of Civil War, which indicates that he knows that he's playing all these different characters. He must know he was Hugh Hefner in Iron Man 1. He was, Larry King in Iron Man 2, and so on and so forth. Now, if you saw some of my reactions for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I was hoping that Groot was going to grow up in the movie, because as much as I love Baby Groot, I love seeing like actual Groot just kick some ass. He didn't, which is fine. I'm okay with that because he was really cute. Doesn't matter. The post-credit scene shows teenage Groot. it's Groot going through puberty, and I'm not gonna be able to impersonate it as well, but just I am Groot, fucking like the teenager rebellious phase. It's just, I don't know what it was. That was funny, man. Now, the last one, the post-credit scene, the actual post-credit scene. I still can't think of their name. The S people, the Golden people. They made something. The High Priestess is the main golden chick that you remember. She made something, and she said that, I think I'll name it Adam Warlock. That is huge. I know he's a really big character, especially for Infinity War. I just don't know anything about him. I'm not that in tune with Marvel characters and stuff. But that's a huge move on Marvel's part. Yeah, those are just some cool things, those credit scenes. Those are just cool things to mention. Adam Warlock, Teenage Groot, and what was the other one? Uatu. Yeah, Uatu. That's it. That's all I got for you. I like this movie. And again, I don't know why I thought that the people didn't like this movie. I don't know. people like this movie. People like it. Probably not as much as the first, which is granted because just the nature of sequels is very hard to do. Yeah, I like this movie though. It was really fun. What's next for Marvel? They have this one. Oh, they have something else coming out. I know Thor Ragnarok is in November. I feel like there's something in the middle that comes out for Marvel. I'm not sure what though. Am I forgetting it? I think I am. 2017. Oh yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Duh. Fuck, I'm super excited for Spider-Man Homecoming. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.